Hello, this is Jesse with another Unboxing Board Games. This time I'm going to show you some board games that I picked up from my last trip to China. The reason you haven't seen videos from me in a little while is that I'm very busy getting ready for the wedding that's next week. I'll be marrying Sandy. So wish me luck, and let's take a look at some of these board games. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail because I have a lot of games to show you, and just kind of want to give you a brief overview from an American board game perspective, and just maybe go over some of the differences that I found in picking up some of these games. And while I don't have them all fully translated and haven't really got to play any of them, I'm looking forward to doing that in the future, and maybe we can go back through some of these games individually in other videos. But for now, let's take a look at the first game I got. This game came from a Japanese department store called Ito Yokota while I was visiting Chengdu in China. And it's a Japanese game that was among a lot of educational games in the department store. But I picked this one up because it's essentially just a Monopoly variant, but it had some kind of neat pieces, and I kind of like the artwork, and so I just figured I'd pick it up. It wasn't very expensive. Not a big collector of Monopoly variants by any means, but let's take a look at this one. This is my department store receipt, and these are the rules. And the board itself is a really thin laminated cardboard. It's not really a board by any means. But you can see it's got the spaces that go all the way around the edge of the board, like a Monopoly board would. It's got some player pieces that I haven't punched out yet, and the chunky plastic holders for them. It's got a few kind of generic dice. It's got some just really generic fake play money. It's got a roulette wheel spinner. Not sure exactly how that's used in the game. Some more cards I hadn't really unpacked, but these are kind of neat. These look like the little hotel pieces in your standard American Monopoly game, except the roof kind of, to me, looks like it has like a little bit different texture to it, and it's gold colored. But the really cool piece in this inexpensive little game is the little fortress. And what I'm assuming is that these pieces that look like hotel pieces, since there's more of them, those are more like your Monopoly houses, and the fortresses are more like the hotels. So that's the game that I bought from Ito Yokota. The next few games are games with themes that you'll recognize. These first two I got while I was in Shanghai. I don't really speak enough Chinese to really do a whole lot of shopping myself, but I was exploring in Shanghai myself while Sandy was conducting business, so I was able to pick up a couple of games. This first one is a Angry Birds table game. The printing on the box is a little bit looks a little bit. The colors look a little bit bled out. So the printing quality on some of these is not up to par with some of our American games, especially from the bigger publishers. So this looks like the rules on the back of this sheet, and this is actually a pretty thick sheet of paper here. It almost feels like something that I want to split, but it's just one sheet. This side of the board looks like the playing surface, and it's got these chunky cardboard pieces that I haven't punched out yet, but you can see they're all the Angry Birds characters. And there's a set of cards. Most of these have the same back, and then the front you've got like the challenge points, and I assume that these are probably like challenges. I wish I had more of this translated already for you, but like I said, we can go back and do that in future videos when we look at individual games. I'm just trying to give you a quick, brief overview of the big bunch of games that I picked up while I was over there. So this game I also picked up in Shanghai, Plants vs. Zombies. This always happens when you really want to show a game to somebody really bad. It's like the game sometimes resists. Come on. Alright. So, got a deck of cards in here. I believe this is kind of like a card race game, but I don't know much more about it, and I just kind of read that off of Board Game Geek because there was somebody posting images there. This shows you a better picture. And there's some thick cardboard pawns here of the different zombie characters. Here's the board. It's a little bit warped, but you can see it looks like the backyard that you play in the mobile game. And these, so I went to a board game store or board game cafe. I popped into one in Shanghai at one point, and like I said, I don't speak enough Chinese to really get by, so the one I went to in Shanghai, I wasn't really able to communicate much other than they weren't selling games, and it was kind of like an hourly rate to go and play games there with your friends or whatever, and you just kind of use the games that are available in the cafe. But later I went to game store in Chengdu with Sandy, and she was able to translate for me, and they actually hadn't opened up, and I was their first customer, so imagine that. It was kind of a out-of-the-way place. It was several floors up in a high-rise building, and there wasn't really any signs that I could definitely tell it was a game store. But like I said, they hadn't really fully opened yet, so I'd be interested in going back there and checking them out. But they had tons of copies of Sangusha or Killers of the Three Kingdoms, and they even had like tournament copies and stuff. They had a lot of European and American board games. Lots of copies of like I think it's the anniversary edition of Settlers of Catan that has the nice wooden box and all. But I stayed away from a lot of those because I can get the English version of the game, and just really wasn't interested in things that I could find in the States in English. So a lot of these other games, I just picked them up as a curiosity. This is another Plants vs. Zombies game, and this is a Fruit Ninja party game. I'll show you the Fruit Ninja party game first. Got a little instruction booklet. That's just some sleeves that I stuck in there. Here it looks like they're kind of advertising the other games that this publisher is doing. Some of them you'll recognize, some of them I definitely don't recognize. these are pretty small cards, and they feel like they're waxed, but the printing quality and the wax quality isn't that great. You can see these kind of have some like machine mark. It looks like kind of from the wax, but it messed up some of the ink. But this is just a little party game where people put down cards, and the rules kind of change as far as what you, maybe not the rules, but the actions that you have to do change depending on what cards people put down. And I sleeved these because the ink or the wax, whatever's on these cards, just had kind of a weird tactile feel to me, and felt better with them sleeved. This Plants vs. Zombies game, the box actually has like a foil look to it. So while we notice that the print quality of some of the games and the components and the cards and stuff is not always that great, or what we're used to in the United States, they do some interesting embellishments. And actually this particular game, it's probably not licensed, but they had a couple variations of the box. I think there was different foil covers or something, but essentially all the same contents. So rules booklet, and I think this game is like a Killers of the Three Kingdom variant. Some packs of cards in here that I hadn't gone through yet, but at this particular store, and probably all over China, they've got a lot of Killers of the Three Kings or Bang style games, variants of that, since it's so hugely popular in China and in the game cafes and whatnot. You can kind of recognize some of the Plants vs. Zombies characters and some of the spoofs that they're doing in those earlier cards. That looked like Avatar there. Try to get through these because I picked up like a ton of games from this one store that was just opening, and I kind of wanted to pick up a lot of games just for my collection, but also support the new store. Don't really know much about this game. I haven't really gone through these cards, as you can see, but I'll try to get through these quickly. This is more of a kid's game. Sandy really likes these characters. I think in English they call it Pleasant Sheep or Pleasant Goat. It's hugely popular. These are just some unpunched chits and cards. And like I said earlier, Bang or Killers of the Three Kingdom game variants are real popular. This one's got kind of a wrinkled cover, but this is another one of those variants that to me look like it kind of has a Counter-Strike type theme, or Call of Duty. Stuck some bags in there for these cards. This one actually has a decent insert. Some of the other inserts for the card games, they really just don't work very well, but here you can kind of see with the poker card numbers and suits on there that this definitely looks like a variant of Bang or Killers of the Three Kingdoms. This one's another kind of variant, I believe. It's a fighting style game. Show the back. The instruction booklet has like character bios like you'd find in a Street Fighter game. This one's actually, a lot of these games that I picked up from China, the components are generally just cards and boards, but this one's actually got a little bit of a, it's probably a hit point slider, and it's made out of real thin cardboard, but something different than a lot of the games that I picked up had. Trying not to make this video too long by going into too much detail on these games, so I'm sorry if I blow past something too quickly that you wanted to see. This is a game that I haven't really opened up yet. Maybe we'll see more of it later in a different video, but it's got like a Monkey King or Journey to the West theme. Here's the one that I got that's actually got a tin. This wasn't the only game that I saw that had a tin, but the art for this game is kind of intriguing. And as I understand it, I think the game it's based on a Chinese manga or Chinese comic, and that would explain to me why the art is so nice on these cards. This one actually kind of has like a velvety feel to the insert, which is something different. Those of you who are familiar with Magic the Gathering or have seen these boxes, this to me looked a whole lot like Magic the Gathering. It's from Yoka Games, and it's got like that hologram look to the box. Yoka Games is the publisher that makes Killers of the Three Kingdoms. And this game, though, I think it's a little bit more like Magic, but I don't know how similar. These let's see. I think these two are like promo cards for other games, like this one's Killers of the Three Kingdoms, and these are just some cards from this game here. You can see the artwork in this one is pretty cool. I'd like to learn how to play it. These are some like advertisement cards. And lastly, this game, I think the theme is it's upside down. I think the theme is based on like an online game. Even says version 1.0. And this box lid fits on there pretty snug. And the print on the box, it's not glossy like most games you'd see. This instruction booklet give you some idea of what's kind of going on, maybe. Probably not too much more of an idea than I know what's going on in this game at this point, since I hadn't learned it yet. And I put these cards in these bags like this because, like I was saying earlier, I got these inserts, but once I get the cards out of their original wrapper, I'm not sure what this insert's really going to do. I mean, this insert's probably better than some of the others since it's actually got some wall in there for the cards, but just kind of started putting the cards in bags since some of the other inserts were pretty lacking as far as, you know, they'll get the game to you, but once you open it up and start playing it and you want to put it back in the box, it's really not going to be that helpful. The card quality of this game is actually pretty nice. They're glossy and they got a nice texture to them. The edges are a little bit rougher than what I'd like, but really not bad. And again, I see the poker card suits and numbers, which indicates to me that this may be another Bang variant. Or more closely a Killers of the Three Kingdoms variant, because that's what's hugely successful over there. Although I did see copies of Bang, but I kind of feel like they're just, a lot of the players are so much more familiar with the popularity of Killers of the Three Kingdoms that when they encounter Bang, it's more like, oh, that's like Killers of the Three Kingdoms. But I don't mean to put words in their mouth. That's just my impression as a American gamer that went over there, not really speaking the language, just kind of exploring. So I hope to. These are all upside down. I'm showing you upside down. Hope to pick up on a lot more of the details as I learn the language. But that's a really quick overview of the games that I picked up while I was in China. Most of these came from a game store in Chengdu, which I hope to go to again. And I'll visit the store, and maybe if they let me, I'll take some pictures to share with you. But that's another unboxing board games with Jesse.